It is, what day is today? June 5th, 2022. Louis brought me to visit faraway relatives that we could drive to. And as I get here, I guess a holiday of sorts, unexpected, unplanned for me anyway. It's on his schedule. On the way down, we stopped at a rest area, and he says, I get back in the car with him, and he says, some woman came over and said, I really like that olive on you. And I said, oh, really? Did she say that? That's so interesting. Whatever. So that's how witches and wizards are working this afternoon for me. I then discovered, since I'm sitting here in an area that's whatever, I've discovered in the back of Linda's car a book that I've read before, but I don't remember. I rediscovered it. And inside of it, it is something about the twins. And I'm like, right, Nikki. I'm like, la femme nakita. I'm in the Italian boot, part of my favorite humans on earth. And I am just interested in what it could mean with having driven down with someone who is acknowledged as looking nice in olive while I am in all black. And I am thinking to myself, let's look on page 7 and 8 for some familial whatever. And sure enough, it says that Victoria, alter ego perhaps, was chased by Rockefellers and Cortlandts in this area in her youth. They also mention this word raven. Also says she needs something called soup plates. And if I was a different woman of a different caliber and knew what Tiffany's was or how to order from it, that's what the suggestion of the book jacket was. But again, just like the man who acts in the movie like the character, there is then the personal life of the actor, and sometimes they do not run parallel. Sometimes they act out of character or out of cast. It is the same thing with the book cover, the book jacket, and then the real world. And I do not know which is which. It did also say, for edification, that the father's house thought Victoria more of an intellect than a romantic. There is a reason for this prowess. The Rockefellers and the Cortlandts knew who they are, and know who they seek and who they prefer, as far as look and as far as courting of marriage in a proper way. I would be the intellect. I need to know who I am set for, so this type of situation doesn't arrive. But it did not go that way. So here I am. I will say environmentally, in New York, there is this vibration. I had milk this morning that I heated in the microwave, and it congealed at the top of it, the top layer. And as I put it on the counter, and on the counter, the layer that had coagulated like a phospholipid, whatever, was bouncing ever so slightly in like a ripple effect, almost as if you throw a rock in a pond, that first layer of ripple. So there's something in the vibrational movement of the apartment where Linda is. The windowsills creak, the glass creaks at times. The floors are becoming very creaky, which they were not always. They were more solid in structure. But it's like this constant shaking, like vibration. And it really is unsettling and uneasy. There's no stillness in the room, ever. And it's always like, almost like crickets' feet in the background with molecules radically moving behind it. That's the hertz or the frequency. I tried to explain, I said, there's 2 major airports and we're in like a bullseye targeted area. I don't know if it's like a supersonic vibration coming from a satellite, or like a constant feed of some sort of the New York area, but it's something that just rattles you to the cellular level. At mile marker 869 or 86.9, when we crossed into a different state by, it's not Copernic, I don't know, it's some stadium in Maryland, but whatever it was, we lost satellite. I don't know the companies behind it. I know nothing of the technology of it. In layman's terms, at lay of the land, we traveled from southbound, and the New York, in Lewis's car and Linda's car, it's SXM satellite. It lost signal. Lewis's phone, which is an Apple phone, also had a fatal error. I don't know what it's called on the satellite because it just went dead. And then we had to touch the touch screen and find whatever Maryland signal is. We must have passed through some kind of electromagnetic grid of some sort. It reestablished a connection to this SXM whatever, but that was right before I had actually looked by the time I realized. So whatever we were traveling, it was somewhere around there. And when we passed several on our route, which was whatever the GPS sent us on. I was cognizant of some of the observations. Especially like this gigantic monument that they built to a very corporate name that I recognize from New York, that's in my walking path in New York, which frightens me. They also have a different flag system here. They still have the U.S. flag, but it's a different flag. I guess they call it their state flag. I don't have such. I have a black and white POW flag in New York. And when I got out of the car and I sat in the house with my aunts, my relatives, there was a stillness in the air that doesn't exist in New York and where I am, or in the fallout shelter where I am. The sunlight is still way too high. I mean, look at the caliber of this lighting. And the shadows, or the whatever that it casts, but it feels like a radiological effect, honestly. I saw that also mentioned in a movie the other night with Rendlesham's Forest and 2 reporters or two states workers or some, I don't know how they characterize them. It was on that show that I was watching on History Channel, Ancient Aliens, about the losing of the electromagnetic whatever. So I know it exists. I just know it's also hard to explain in like a UFO way, but not wanting to sound crazy. But it is definitely affecting the whatever. I mean, my lips right now are so white and pale. It's indicative of some gamma wave, whatever. I know that. I can feel it on my tongue. But the difference is the molecules in the air are not jumping, or it's not like a super sonar pulse that I feel just in a seated mode. There, it's more quiet and 1,000 units on a slab, not in a whatever the other choices are, but it's on a slab, and it feels foundationally like it's at a more solid, it's more solid state, not like it's being pounded by radiological forces of like sound and wave vibration, because Linda and Lou's house feels like it's being pounded, and like the architecture chemistry is starting to change, where the walls creak, the windows are creaking, and it's like frictional vibration, Fricction for vibration. My aunt asked me what I thought it was. I said, I don't know. I said, I think it might be something between a space station, an orbital, and then something in the inner aerospace before you get to ground level. I said, but I am not clear exactly what level of signal or programming could be sending that level of damaging radio waves towards the ground and the people that are innocently there, not knowing how to whatever. Almost like a different form of terrorist attack. Again, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies broken. I'm not in Bayside Station. I'm in a different state. And it's definitely a different feel in the air. I'm still having trouble breathing and walking, not as much pain. My knee on my left side, but I can push through it. Again, I always come at it like, if Hell Week can do whatever they're able to push their bodies through, even though I'm in a deteriorated state, as long as I'm not hurting the joints or my vital organs, I'm trying to push through as best as I can within reason of knowing what my extraneous limits are to a degree. Being like 3rd degree. So it's a change of scenery and whatever at the moment.